If you are going to drive for DoorDash, when is the best time to drive? Because you have limited free time, number one. Number two, when you're out there, you want to maximize your income, obviously, and make as much money as possible. So get this. In this video, I'm going to tell you the best times to drive for DoorDash as a DoorDash Dasher, but I have 3 sources for you that you can compare. We're going to hear about the best time to drive for DoorDash. Number one, from the company themselves. Number two, I asked Dashers like you, when is the best time to dash? And then number three, I'm going to give you my own take as someone who first got activated for DoorDash in 2018. Number one, let's see what the company themselves actually said, because just a couple of days ago, they released this, literally best times to dash, a practical scheduling guide for Dashers. So right off the bat here, straight away, what are the best times to dash? If you're looking to make as many deliveries as possible, I kind of want to stop right there. The company says if you want to make as many deliveries as possible, and I teach you 2 different strategies. The volume strategy, which is kind of like this, accepting more orders, they might be at a lower margin to make the earnings per hour that you want. And then the margin strategy, which is kind of the inverse, I'm accepting higher margin offers and taking less of those per hour to make the hourly that I want. My point is, don't think your goal has to be to make as many deliveries as possible. Let's continue. Consider prioritizing the busiest times of the day, meal time rushes. Yes, for restaurants, this means lunch from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. So there's slot number one, lunch 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. How is your lunch rush? And dinner from 4:30 p.m. until 8 p.m. There's another time slot there. Do you prefer lunch, dinner, breakfast? And do you agree with these time slots, or would you move it around? While mealtime rushes are naturally busy, additional earnings can be made in the morning and late at night. So early morning AM, breakfast, and then later after even the dinner rush. So between the lunch and dinner rushes, Dashers can make the most of off-peak hours by accepting shop and deliver orders from convenience, grocery, and retail stores. Anytime in between those slots, you could do shop and deliver. But I also want you to consider what else is busy in between food delivery time slots. Yeah, maybe rideshare, maybe grocery, maybe package, but also consider catering. Catering might be perfect for the time slot in between breakfast and lunch and kind of going into lunch as well. Like for instance, Deliver That is a catering, side hustle platform for you. Deliver That says their busiest times for business catering, it's right in that in-between window, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Monday through Friday. And then Delivered, another catering side hustle app, says Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. Just think about that too. DoorDash says you can do shop and deliver, which you can. Do you like shop and deliver? Do you want to do grocery, convenience, retail, and all of those shops with your red card? Talking about scheduling a dash. So you can use the Dash Now feature if it's busy enough to go online instantly, and or you can use scheduling features. Dash Now allows you to start delivering immediately, exactly, so you don't have to schedule a dash, exactly. The only thing I'll say with Dash Now is if you're trying to dash immediately, you're getting ready, it's like, okay, well, it's moving into the dinner rush, my phone's down, I'm just gonna pick it up, go on the Dasher app, and I should be able to dash now. Only if it's number one, busy enough. And then number two, only if they need dashers. If that little sub marketplace that you're in, if it's not red, basically, if it's grayed out, like you can't dash now. Now, DoorDash says, even in this article, they talk about early access scheduling, but a lot of marketplaces, they don't even have the standalone early access scheduling. They have early access, but it's bundled into their now almost nationwide Dasher rewards program. Something that I do with Dash Now is if I feel like Dash Now is going to get claimed, then I will go online as I'm basically walking out the door. So I'm not exactly immediately ready to dash. I'm going to dash, but to make sure, since Dash Now is available currently, it's on my phone, I can click it. I will go online with Dash Now, And then you can just pause your dash for like 2-3 minutes as you're putting your shoes on or you're getting ready to go out. So let's see what you said though. I asked our team members, viewers like you, fellow Dashers in this case, when is just generally the best time to drive for DoorDash? I know there's a lot of specifics. There's market specifics because your marketplace is going to vary. There's weekdays, there's weekends. I just asked generally, when is the best time to drive? Is it the morning? Is it the afternoon? Or is it the evening? With over 800 respondents, 12% of Dashers said the morning. Only 13% of Dashers said the afternoon, and an overwhelming majority, 75%, said the evening. So that's what you said. Let's compare what you said versus what the company said, and just my own experience having done DoorDash and most every single major food delivery side hustle gig app. Firstly, when we look at your responses the evening, obviously it's not like literally 8 or 9 p.m. We're not talking about evening like that. I think most of us would convey that to yes, driving the dinner rush. I think to answer this question, that is the best time to drive just food delivery in general. It doesn't have to be DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, any local or regional options. Catering, we talked about kind of more of those weekday afternoons, but food delivery, I like the dinner rush. Now you would think, well, isn't it more saturated? Because if everyone focuses on the dinner rush, how am I going to be busy if people are dashing after work? And if people know the dinner rush is the best time to drive, wouldn't it be more saturated? Yes and no. On one hand, even DoorDash has said, this is really interesting. This is directly from DoorDash, that their own stats of order frequency show that sometimes, like for one given restaurant, they did a sample size here, that from Friday to Friday, from the same restaurant, they can't necessarily statistically guarantee it's going to be as busy, more busy, or less busy. And yes, I'll say that more Dashers are most likely on the road during that dinner rush. Keep this in mind, that more customers are just typically, even though we said customer behavior varies, typically they're ordering more after work, in the evening, generally for that dinner rush. So yeah, there's more Dashers, but there's more customers ordering. There is a whole lot of restaurants in your marketplace. Most likely, again, it's going to vary based on your market size, a whole lot of restaurants as well that are fielding orders. And then think about this. This is really important. I don't think a lot of people really think about this. How many orders can you take in an hour? Let me ask you, comment down below. How many orders can you handle in an hour? Like 1 if it's dead slow, to 3, maybe 4 if you get 2 stacked orders, like 2 or more assignments for 1 driver. Even if there's more Dashers, they can physically only handle a certain amount of orders in the hour. So if we have a, let's say 4-hour window from 4:30 p.m. until 8:30 p.m., the dinner rush, yeah, there's more Dashers, but there's more customers. There's a lot of restaurants, and these Dashers, I mean, yourself included, can only handle a certain amount of volume anyway. So your marketplace needs Dashers online as well. But just considering what DoorDash said in this post when they said Dashers could just take as many deliveries as possible, the company actually released data saying that a higher acceptance rate reduces your inactive time. So inactive time is time you're sitting around and you don't have an assignment. So those Dashers that accepted more, you can see here on the top, their acceptance rate was less than 20%. They had that curve shifted to the right there, more inactive time as a share of total online time. And then Dashers with an AR of 20 to 50%, less inactive time, and Dashers who accepted the most between 50% and 100% had the least amount of inactive time per hour. Now I'll tell you here, again, how the company's going to frame it. They're going to say, well, if you want to sit around less, you should accept more. And yes, that makes sense. If you accept like more stuff, if you accept everything, you're going to have less inactive time. But I want you to have the biggest margin to make the most money possible. So I get it, but I wouldn't encourage you to accept absolutely everything. In fact, I would just multi-app, drive on different apps at the same time, including DoorDash, and selecting the best orders for you. So I would rank it, yes, dinner rush, 4:30 p.m. until 8:30 p.m. Obviously, there's late night, there's The in-between, maybe look at catering, look at rideshare. Lunch is our second place, right? I'd say 11-ish, 11:30 a.m. until 2 p.m. or so. And then for me, just personally, I found the slowest time here in Pittsburgh to be breakfast for me, just because not as many customers are awake, not as many customers are thinking possibly about food delivery at that time, and not as many restaurants are open in the early AM. But that's definitely just a basic framework. So let me know if that framework would work for you and how your marketplace is. And do you feel these best practices work in your marketplace, or what do you do in your city to make the most money?